How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 81, Yusuf vs. Barboza on October 14th, 2023. Let's get right into it with the first fight of 11. We start in the women's strawweight division with Ashley Yoder versus Emily Ducote. Let's start with Ashley. Her last fight was a loss against Jinh Yun Fry in July of 2021. She goes for a lot of takedowns, decent ones and twos on the feet. Ashley's got some good work in the clinch with some knees, decent cardio, good leg kicks. Some cons she has is her leg kick defense in general. She sometimes rushes in with hands down when she's charging with ones and twos and throws kicks without setup, and she's very inconsistent, as you can tell, 3-7 in the UFC. Yikes. Let's go to Emily. Her last fight was a loss against Lupi Godinez in March of 2023. When her boxing gets going, it's actually pretty decent. She has nice setups, and those setups lead to good combos. Nice lower attack with leg kicks and body shots. She throws a crisp body right straight. It's beautiful. Good takedown entries, good cardio. Some cons about Emily: she gets pressured, leaves openings with ones and twos, and she starts very slow. We saw that in the Lupi Godinez fight. Lupi took that fight on I don't even know how short notice, and Emily lost that fight due to just starting late. I'm going to pick Emily Ducote by unanimous decision, 30-27. I think Emily is just a more well-rounded fighter. I think she's going to win the striking exchanges, and if it does need to go to the ground, Emily will win those too. I think Ashley should probably get cut after this, not going to lie. We move to the bantamweight division with number 15, Chris Gutierrez, facing Alatonghae Lee. Let's start with Chris Gutierrez. His last fight was a loss against Pedro Munoz in April of 2023. Very humbling experience for Chris. Pedro just kind of was a step ahead of him at every exchange. Great mix-up of strikings with feints added. Chris feints a shit ton, and this allows him to pick apart his opponents. Good footwork. His leg kicks and setups for those leg kicks are beautiful. He throws a crisp-ass question mark kick. Some problems with Chris is he struggles off his back. Whenever something isn't going his way, Chris sort of tends to get a bit desperate. Let's go to Alatonghae Lee. His last fight was a win against Chad Anheliger in September of 2022. Nice leg kicks. He's a very big power puncher. He has slick wrestling, but he chooses to strike because he got a taste of a knockout one time. He also hits very hard. Feints a lot. Good pressure plus patience. Alatonghae Lee is a very patient guy, but this is countered by the fact that he sometimes rushes in for no reason, and he's susceptible to leg kicks, which is a big thing that Chris likes to do. I'm going to pick Chris Gutierrez by second round TKO. Alatonghae Lee in that Chad Anheliger fight, he left a lot of openings when he was rushing in trying to pin Chad against the fence, and I think Chris is going to take a very big opportunity here and knock out Alatonghae Lee. We go to women's bantamweight with Irina Alekseeva versus Melissa Dixon. Let's start with Irina. Last fight was a win over Stephanie Egger in March of 2023. She got a submission with a knee bar. Nice kicks, great pressure. She stands very tall and she's very wild. Irina is what a street brawler as a woman would look like. She stands very tall. She kind of wings her punches a lot. Throws a lot of looping shit. Nice submission transitions, though, so if this does get to the ground, Irina does have that submission, threat. Her only loss is to, an actual trash can. I think the girl was, 1-4 or something. It's terrible. She's too street fighter-ish, not gonna lie, for, the tops level of the division, but she mixes up some things well, I guess. Let's go to Melissa. Her last fight was a win over Daria Zalei. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce her name. In November of 2022. Great ground and pound. She's undefeated. Good transitions. But goddamn, is Melissa striking so bad. She leaves so many openings, and that's why I'm going to pick Irina Alekseeva by first round TKO. Melissa's striking is you remember that one soccer mom that fought? Who was it that she fought? She fought an actual good MMA fighter, and she got fucking obliterated in 30 seconds. Her striking is iCarly. We go to the lightweight division with Terrence McKinney and Brendan Marat. Let's start with Terrence. His last fight was a win over Mike Breeden in August of 2023. A very quick starter, throws everything into every strike. Clean striking at times, sometimes is wild. Powerful is an understatement. Not bad on the ground either. I know the Nazem fight kind of was oh, he's not that great. Terrence McKinney actually does have submission offense and submission defense. Has jiu-jitsu. He's just a tad bit chinny and lacks IQ at certain times. It is what it is. We saw that in, You know, the Ishmael Bonfim fight. We saw that in the Sean Woodson fight on the Contender Series. We saw that on the Drew Dober fight. We saw it in a couple of his fights in his UFC career. Let's go to Brendan. His last fight was a win over Lionel Yun in August of 2023. Well-rounded with nice leg kicks, nice takedowns, powerful and strong. Strong is an understatement, may I say. He's a bit slow on the feet and allows his opponents to tee off on him at certain points. He's also a can crusher. 2 fighters that he's fought have had positive records, and he lost to one of them. And the other one he beat by a split decision. I'm going to pick Terrence McKinney by first round KO. I just think Terrence McKinney is better than him. We go back to women's bantamweight with Tainara Lisboa versus Rovina Oliveira. Let's start with Tainara. Last fight was a win against Jessica Rose Clark in May of 2023. She's a Muay Thai practitioner, hence the nickname. Good ones and twos down the middle, especially her jab, fast combos, good takedown defense, and judo throws. We saw that in the JRC fight. The opponent's right hand will be wide open. Tainara does not have good head movement, and the right hand is always open. We saw that in the JRC fight. She can also get controlled in the clinch. We saw that in the JRC fight yet again. Tainara is good on the feet. She can do something on the ground, but not as much. Let's go to Rovina. Her last fight was a win against Simone da Silva in August of 2023. Good clinch work, nice kicks, especially her left body kick. Good takedown defense. She's pretty wild on the feet and leaves so many openings and opportunities for her opponent. Rovina is just a bit too wild. I'm going to pick Tainara Lisboa by unanimous decision, 29-28. I think Rovina will be able to snatch the first round with clinch control. The judges will be like, oh, yeah, that's some good fight. And then they're going to give her the first round. Other than that, Tainara is going to pick apart Rovina on the feet. We go to the featured prelim with Darren Elkins and TJ Brown. Let's start with Darren. Last fight was a loss against Jonathan Pierce in December of 2022. Great ground attack, as always. Wild right overhands. He's a traditional wrestler and speedness with takedowns. He also has a heart like nobody else on the roster. Problem with Darren is he leaves a shit ton of openings on the feet and is pretty slow on the feet also. He cuts easily and he gets outworked due to his age. Let's go to TJ. His last fight was a loss to Bill Algeo in April of 2023. He switches stances a lot. He has fun. His leg kicks are good. His jab is pretty good. He throws knees in the clinch where it's like, ooh, brawler. His right straight is beautiful and he has good head movement for the most part. He can get controlled on the ground sometimes and he's a bit shinny. He's been knocked down in a lot of his UFC fights. He leaves openings due to his entertainment value. That being said, I'm going to pick TJ Brown by second round knockout. I think when Darren is shooting for a takedown in the second round, TJ is going to throw one of those knees and knock Darren out. We go to bantamweight with the start of the main card with Christian Rodriguez and Cameron Simon. Let's start with Christian. Last fight was a win against Raul Rosas Jr. in April of 2023. Good composure and great takedown defense with get-ups and good sub-defense. Good top presence with ground and pound and control. He has good ones and twos on the feet, especially his right straight. Problems with Christian is he missed weight for this fight by 4 pounds. He gets his bat taken with ease, and he's not flashy on the feet. He doesn't throw something where you're like, oh, that was wild. Let's go to Cameron. His last fight was a win against Terrence Mitchell in July of 2023. He mixes it up beautifully. Great ground presence with reversals and transitions. His ground and pound is pretty insane, and he can mix subs in there as well. Great kicks. Brings his leg up very fast. He slips punches, but he doesn't throw a lot of punches. He fouls a lot too, and he can get taken down if enough power is put behind it. We saw that in the Terrence Mitchell fight where Terrence kind of like bull rushed him and got him down. I'm going to pick Cameron Simon by third round submission. I think with the missed weight, Christian Rodriguez is not fully interested in this fight. I don't think he's mentally all there right now, and I think Cameron is going to take this with a grain of salt and murder Christian Rodriguez throughout the fight, getting a submission in the third round. We go all the way up to middleweight with Andre Petroski and Michel Pereira. Let's start with Andre. His last fight was a win against Gerald Mearshart in August of this year. A little bit controversial, not going to lie. Great ground attack with chain takedowns and a ton of power in his hands. Huge prospect, 5-0 in the UFC. He throws with everything. Like every punch he throws, it looks like he put his whole body into it. His right hand is very dangerous, so watch out for it. Petroski leaves a lot of openings when he wings his punches. He throws a lot of looping shit, not a lot of straight shots. He gasses quick, and he can get rocked. We saw that in the Gerald Mearshart fight, which he arguably lost. Let's go to Michel Pereira. His last fight was a win against Santiago Ponzinibbio in May of 2022. Wild is an understatement. He throws a bunch of random shit, but his core striking is actually pretty good. He loads up on every punch. He's often on his back foot, which leads to takedowns. Crisp right hand. We saw that in the Ponzinibbio fight. He lands it with such ease behind the ear. His boxing and kickboxing combos are pretty nice. Great head movement. He gasses a little bit often, though. Overthrows at times, and I question if he can take the chain wrestling of Andre Petroski for the entire fight. I'm going to pick Michel Pereira by second round TKO. I think Andre is going to gas even quicker because this fight is on super short notice, and Michel is going to take advantage of this by starting a bit slower than he usually does. I mean, he hasn't fought in over a year. We go to a ranked bantamweight affair with Jonathan Martinez and Adrian Yanez. Let's start with Jonathan. Last fight was a win against Said Nurmagomedov in March of 2023. Good feints, super calm at all times, good cardio, good ring generalmanship, good kicks at all levels. His leg kicks, body kicks, and head kicks are all good. Good get-ups off the ground. His work in the clinch led him to that win against Said Nurmagomedov with his elbows and knees in control. His boxing isn't something to write home about, and he leaves openings mostly to spinning shit. We saw that in the Said fight. He got caught off guard a lot of times by spinning attacks. His defense is decent otherwise. Let's go to Adrian Yanez. His last fight was a loss against Rob Font in April of 2023 when he got fucking obliterated. His boxing is some of the crispiest we've seen in a while, not gonna lie. His head movement is really good. His hooks on the inside are amazing. We've seen that in most of his fights. Accurate as ever. His takedown defense is pretty good. Yanez gets desperate at times and throws caution to the wind, and he bleeds very easily. In fights where he shouldn't be, like, bleeding as crazy as he is, he kind of just, like, his nose kind of gets busted up, his mouth kind of opens up. I think Jonathan Martinez is going to get the win by third round TKO. I think Yanez is going to gas, and Martinez is going to be in his face, and he's going to finish him. I think Yanez is going into this fight with a lot of vengeance, and he's going to blow his load early, and Jonathan's going to be in his face until the end, and he's going to get a TKO on the fence over Adrian Yanez. We go to the co-main event of the evening, Jennifer Maia versus Viviane Araújo. Let's start with Jennifer. Her last fight was a win against Casey O'Neill in March of 2023. Nice work on the fence. Decent jabs. She has good work in space. Jennifer Maia is very well-rounded. If she can get the fight to the ground, she does well on the top. She's getting slower with age, though, which that's a bit of a concern. Let's go to Viviane Araújo. Last fight was a loss against Amanda Ribas in March of 2023. Great work in space, nice cardio, good sub attempts. Her takedown defense is a little suspect, and she leaves a lot of openings. She rushes in. We saw that in the Andrea Lee fight. But again, Viviane Araújo does have good cardio, which, you know, she's going to be in there for a while. This fight is very interesting because I think this really depends on who's better on the night. I think this fight could go either way. I'm going to pick Jennifer Maia by unanimous decision, 29-28 though. I think Jennifer's going to be able to get Viviane Araújo to her back, and she's just going to be able to control her for the entire fight. We have made it to the featherweight main event, Sadiq Yusuff versus Edson Barboza. Let's start with Super Sadiq. Last fight was a win against Don Shainis in October of 2022. Great pressure and good get-ups off his ground. Good slips with a right hand behind it. He likes to slip off to the left and throw a right hand. That's a common tactic he likes to use. Good right kick, leg, head, or body. It's fucking beautiful. Good work in the clinch with knees and elbows. His leg kicks, by the way, are beautiful, both legs. Gets better as the fight goes on. He's a bit of a slower featherweight, I'm not going to lie. He's a big guy, but he's a bit slow. Some openings are present when he crashes in. We saw that in the Arnold Allen fight. We actually saw that in the Alex Caceres fight as well. Alex kind of picked him up a little bit. Let's go to Edson Barboza. Last fight was a win against Billy Quarantillo. Jesus Christ, he murdered Billy Q. Some of the best kickboxing on display in the UFC presently. Spinning attacks and kicks in general are fucking gorgeous. Good takedown defense sometimes, other than when he fights, "Oh Lord, save for Jesus Christ!" Nice jab, head movement. Good clinch knees in general. His knees are fucking great. The Beneil Dariush and the Billy Quarantillo ones are, on display. Very accurate is Edson Barboza. He slows down as of recent. He leaves his chin high when running backwards like we saw in the Justin Gaethje fight. Also, I think this weight cut is getting to Edson as time goes on. This cut to featherweight fucking blows for him. There's no way he can be good. I'm gonna pick Sadiq Yusuff by 4th round submission. I think it's gonna be very close early on as Edson is gonna use his energy wisely, throw a bunch of body kicks, leg kicks, and shit like that. But after the 2nd round, I think it's going to be all Sadiq, and Sadiq's going to get a couple of takedowns, drain Edson Barboza, and get a 4th round submission. I'm UFC Thoughts, and these have been my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 81, Yusuf vs. Barboza on October 14th, 2023. My confident picks reside with Chris Gutierrez, Terrence McKinney, and Cameron Simon. My pre-card rating is a 6 out of 10. I think this card actually has quite a bit of potential, a lot of fun fights in the making. Hopefully this card lives up to the hype, and I'll see you guys after the fights. Peace.